Hey, Brendan here from Blue Light, and welcome back to another one of my videos. If you've not watched one of my videos before, then you won't know that over the past 5 years or so, I've been supporting and helping people in the police recruitment process. I'm very proud now that well in excess of 2,000 people have succeeded as a result of that help and support. So today one of my clients has been asking me about the Competency and Values Framework for policing. So that's what it looks like. It's from the College of Policing, and it's replacing the current competency framework that exists, that most police forces have been using to assess you, assess your ability to be a police officer. So we've now got this word values in there as well as competency. And I'm really pleased about this direction that the police are going in. I'm a strong believer that we should be recruiting for values and training for competence. I think what the police have been doing wrong over the past several years, actually longer than that, is they've been recruiting for competence and training people to be competent, and missing out on the fact that they might actually be recruiting people who've got totally the wrong values to be a police officer. And the time they discover that is when that officer gets involved in some form of misconduct. And by that time, it's too late, because it's already damaged the reputation of the force, and it's damaged the reputation of the unit they're from, and it makes things very difficult for the police to be able to pick up their reputation once it's been damaged in that way. So I think it's really important that the police recruit the right people, the people with the right values. Now, I can't tell people how to answer a question, as in giving them the detail of what should be in their answer, because I've not lived their lives. But I've got a lot of clients at this moment in time asking me questions about how am I going to refocus my answers to reflect the competencies. Well, now again, people are getting bogged down in the competencies. This is not the way to pass the interview phase for the police assessment centre, or for your final interview, or if it's for one of the forces that has a pre-assessment interview for one of those. What I believe you should be focusing on is answering the question concisely, with detail, with some structure, with some passion, with some enthusiasm, and coming across as being the real unique you. Now, that's not really the case for the assessment centre, because that's all a bit plastic and it's a bit game playing, and I'm hoping that the new version of the assessment centre that gets brought out this year will get rid of a lot of that, although I have my doubts. What you should be focusing on is providing really good answers to the sort of questions that you're going to get asked. So I've taken a bit of a troll through this a few times now, because quite a few of my clients have been preparing for interviews for forces that are now using the Competency and Values Framework. So I think the sort of questions that you're going to get asked are as follows. Questions like, can you tell me about a time when you've had to do the right thing in a challenging situation? Can you tell me about a time when you've supported a vulnerable person? Can you tell me about a time when you've challenged someone else's behaviour and what happened? Can you tell me about a time when you've supported change? Can you tell me about a time when you have tailored your communication to meet the needs of others? And can you tell me about a time when you have demonstrated resilience? Now, quite a few of those questions there, you might be scratching your head thinking, how on earth am I going to answer those? Well, you just need structure. You need to think about the situation, and in there, the impact on others, what your aim was, and don't talk like this. So what I aimed to do was, no one talks like that. So what I hoped to achieve was, that's how people talk. But if you think about the aim, it kind of follows the structure of the SAL model, which I'm describing now. Forget STAR, it just doesn't help you, I don't think. I think the only reason they have the STAR model is because it spells a word. The amount of people I speak to get confused between what the task and the action phase actually means is enormous, and I get confused myself. So that's why I've put together the SAL model. So just a reminder, the situation, and you describe the impact on others there, what your aim was and what your options were, what did you consider as options, why you chose the option that you chose, and then the action phase is how you delivered it. So this isn't about saying I empathised with the person, because that's just a claim of what you did. I want to know at the interview how you did empathy. I had a discussion with them, and I demonstrated my support. Well, how did you demonstrate your support? I want to know the detail in that phase there. And then we get to the result, and I don't want to hear that the garden is smelling of roses and that everything works out perfectly first time, because that's not how the world works. And it doesn't allow you to be able to then bridge into the next part of the SAL model, which is the learning. So if everything went brilliantly, there's no learning. I want you to describe in detail how you learnt from that experience. So that should start off with something like, upon reflection, and having discussed this with someone who I know and trust, and for my clients, that's normally me, what I found was, and then you describe some real in-depth learning. Learning is not, I discovered the power of open questions, or I discovered it's good to communicate with people, or I discovered that I've got a really helpful nature. They're just bland comments. That's not learning. They're just bland comments and claims. So there you go, folks. The Competency and Values Framework, well worth a read. As I said, I think it's a move in the right direction. I honestly and firmly believe that the police should be recruiting for values first and then developing people's competence, not looking to see whether they're competent in their role now and see if that's transferable into the police service. The values are the most important thing. Okay, assess for some competence, but don't make that the basis of everything that you do. So it's moving in the right direction. Just about all forces will have introduced it by the end of 2018, including British Transport Police, who I do believe might be including this in their interview framework now. I do know that they ask some particularly challenging questions. It's a very, very tough process, British Transport Police. So if you've got any questions, please do let me know. If you're watching this on Facebook, then in the comments, and press that little like button at the same time if you've liked what you've heard. If you're watching this on YouTube, then please do subscribe to my channel, and every time I press the button public on a video, you will get notified of that in your email. How cool is that? And if you've got any questions at all on YouTube, then ask in the comments box below. If you'd like to join my secret Facebook group, they call it secret. What that really means is that you can't find it if you search for it, you can't see who the members are, and you can't see what the comments are. It's completely blanked off. You won't find it if you look for it. The only way to find that group is if you're invited into it. At this moment in time, there are over 2,600 members of that group, all supporting each other and guiding each other in a very ethical way. So I'm really pleased about the way that's going. I've only had to remove 2 people from that group because of their behaviour. So out of the thousands that have joined it, I'm really proud of the ethical behaviour that's being demonstrated there, pretty much in line with the Competency and Values Framework. So good news all around there. But anyway, if you'd like to join that group, please do go to my Facebook page, the Blue Light Consultancy Facebook page. There's a link below in the blurb, and then click on that Facebook link, like the page, and from there I shall invite you to join the group. What else I've got to tell you? Oh yes, a shameless plug. If you'd like to join any of my courses or seminars to help prepare you for the assessment centre, then again there's a link below. You can find out a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. So thanks very much for watching this. If you've got any other ideas about what I should be creating videos about, then please do let me know, and I'd be absolutely delighted to create something to help support you on your journey. Until next time, I shall speak to you soon. Bye bye now.